something about this duke who was killed in 1804, criminally condemned. So that means that he was criminally condemned under the reign of Napoleon Bonaparte, who was the Emperor of France from 1804 until about 1814, 1815. It has a little interlude that interrupts the years. But at any rate, this duke, who now has this massive memorial to him, was really condemned under the reign of Napoleon Bonaparte. And then when the Bourbon dynasty is restored shortly after that, they had him, let's see.
Moved.
Yeah, so they had him moved, but it says that they put him in the nave, which is the bigger opening, so he was very publicly displayed, very much lamented that his death occurred at the hands of Napoleon Bonaparte. So under Napoleon, where was it at? Under Napoleon III, who would be the nephew of Napoleon Bonaparte, who becomes the Emperor of France after this Bourbon restoration. So we have all this back and forth between the two dynasties. The nephew of Napoleon probably not wanting to highlight the fact that his uncle's responsible for the death of his popular prince. I'm speculating here, but it sounds to me like he had the monument moved into this smaller room where it's out of sight and out of mind to not highlight his uncle's role in or responsibility rather, for his death. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All the intrigue between the different dynasties fighting over the rule of France in the 19th century.
And we are in kind of a tiny back room.
Little back room. So the nave is the big opening that's out there. That's the nave of a church or cathedral. That's the big open area, basically where mass would happen. All right, we're going?
Go on.
Okay, so this is Chateau de Vincennes, and it's an example of a medieval castle. So if you look at it, you'll notice that, first of all, we have a moat around it. Let's go ahead and point that out. So it's what we would call a keep. This is meant to protect a king and a town in the event of a siege. This was built and used during the 100 Years' War between France and Britain, which is the short way to refer to it. In some ways, it's kind of a civil war at the same time, but we'll leave that for another day. So if you look at it, first of all, I mean, these are thick stone walls. You don't have a lot of windows, and even of those windows that you do have, many of them are just thin little slits. You can see them here in this wall leading up to the tower on the end, where the thin slits are between the actual windows. That's where an archer would put his arrow out, and he'd be able to shoot at the enemy. Meanwhile, on the other side of those same slits, it's very open, so that the archer is able to pivot and shoot at the enemy from a lot of different angles, whereas the enemy, you know, good luck getting your arrow up there and through what is, geez, just a few inch gap. That's just not going to happen. You know, then of course we have the bridge. You know, the door itself is quite reinforced, so that's why we call it a keep. I mean, this thing is meant to repel invaders, and it's a jarring contrast compared to something like, you know, where Louis XIV lived at Versailles, which we'll go to a little bit later this week, where you've got big open windows, lots of glass, which basically says this king is so powerful he's not even afraid that someone could actually attack his home. That is clearly not the message being sent here. This is the home of a king who thinks an army is going to come knocking at his door, and sometimes it did.
Bonjour tout le monde. Hello everyone. Today we went to Vincennes Castle, where Charles V lived, just out of Paris. So because he was afraid, because so many people wanted him not to be king, so they wanted to kill him. He had just too many enemies, So he's got this big like village area with a castle and a chapel all around a moat, and then he's got a castle, which we're in like a little courtyard place right now. We're sitting at an old school bench. And this is where they would put their pencils, but it's like water. Yeah, it's been raining, but so he built this right out of Paris.
Oh, so this is
live in the little
he
village.
draws?
And then here's the castle that he lived at.
Okay, what was your favorite part of the castle?
Seeing... Wait, we forgot something. What? So, right there, I don't know if you could see it, like, there are places on the building where the tiny slots where Charles V's his soldiers they would put their arrow through the slots and they would shoot it, and it was like super duper difficult for the enemies to get it back through. And for the record, for the record, before I say my favorite part, no, it's not like those little windows with glass, but if you look way up there, you can see slots even tinier, like basically little slots, almost cracks.
Okay.
That's what it is. And literally, I could stick my hand through it, and my dad took a picture of me pretending to shoot the arrow.
Okay, tell me your favorite part of the castle.
I'm just looking around and seeing the castle ever since, well, when I was younger, like this age, probably, I loved princesses. And this type of castle isn't like when we go to the royal palace, but this is one of those type time castles. So it's like...
Arendelle, Beauty and the Beast.
Yes, it's like going to the scene. It's like going to inside of the movie of Beauty and the Beast. They've got the tiny town, the big castle. We're in France. I'm like at the scene of Beauty and the Beast. Crazy.
Alex, what was your favorite part of the castle?
Dad said potty talk in the bathroom.
Oh, he loved basically translation.
Do you like the bathroom?
He loved the translation. He loved the jail bathroom. So they had this cement top on it now, but it was like this hole, and the jail prisoners go to the bathroom inside the hole. So that's what.
You like the bathroom. What about the king's closet?
Yeah, he asked. We went into the king's bedroom, and Alex asked, "Mommy, where does he keep his clothes?" So we looked around and we found where the wardrobe was, but we weren't capable of going inside.
Okay. Nick, what was your favorite part?
Well, my favorite part was...
Hurry, think of
The
something.
slots.
The slots, the arrow
and-
slots.
Yeah, the arrow slots, and like the view from like up there in the castle, and like those, you can see the windows, like those windows, they've got triangles in it, and they were like multicolored diamonds, they were stained glass diamonds, and you can look through and it looks like the world was like pink, blue, and yellow because those were the only ones up there.
Okay, so bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Goodbye.
Where do we put it in?
Heads or tails?
Oh.
Heads. Oui, mon ami, je m'appelle Lafayette,
the Lancelot of the revolutionary set. I came from afar just to say bonsoir to the king, car c'est toi who's the best. C'est moi.
Start. Starts wee wee.
We,
Lafayette.
Lafayette.